What you've just heard is the biggest threat to gold and silver investing ever. That was a U.S. Silver Eagle legal tender coin that is counterfeit, made in China. And I've got with me James Anderson to tell us more about them. He's been monitoring the rise of all of these counterfeit gold and silver products for quite some time.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, so that was a counterfeit Silver Eagle. They are coming out of China, and there's a good threat of counterfeits coming from there. This year alone, there's been multiple reports of counterfeit product. In March of this year, there was a counterfeit gold bar that was found in the UK that had tungsten rods in it. And as well, recently in September, there was a faked Credit Suisse gold bar that was found with tungsten in it. And so there was multiple other bars that were found after that report broke in September in New York. So it's not just gold bars, though. I think the investing public doesn't realize that there are very good silver counterfeits out there as well.
Yeah, one thing I would like to say right up front here is that we've been monitoring this for quite a while, and we've taken steps to ensure that our customers are getting authentic gold and silver coins. We either buy directly from the U.S. Mint or directly from refineries. So when you're buying product from us, it's most likely new product. Any product that we take back from customers gets assayed now before it goes into our inventory. So we absolutely guarantee that your gold and silver is authentic. It's what it is represented to be. So can you repeat this test and show them the difference between a real Silver Eagle and the counterfeit? So let's take a real Silver Eagle now.
Okay. So here's a ping test of a real one.
Okay, and now the counterfeit. Much higher pitch and much less sustain. It doesn't ring for as long a time. We're going to be putting the frequencies, the notes of these rings on our website. That is the simplest test that you can do, but we have been making investments in making sure that none of the counterfeit product gets into our system. And so what kind of measures have we taken so far?
So there's basically two types of counterfeit product out there. There's really a plated type, which is what this fake Silver Eagle is a plating. Really, the actual content of this is about 85% copper, 14% nickel, a little bit of silver on the outside, but it's mostly base metal.
So it's actually worth just probably less than a dime.
Correct.
So,
correct.
Or, well, it's larger than a penny. So somewhere 15 cents, whatever.
Exactly. So it's not worth much as far as the melt of it. And so plating is one way that's being used. And as well for gold, a hollowing out of bars is being used as well. And I'm sure silver is getting done as well. But usually that's the larger bar. So there's kind of a few methodologies that we're using, proprietary methodologies that deal with X-ray and then as well with sound. So those are the two methodologies depending on which products we're dealing with other measures as well that we're making sure the product that comes to our customer is authentic and our guarantee is bona fide.
Okay.
There are those threats in every size product. So the argument that you should buy only small size product and that there's no counterfeits of small size products is not really going to hold water.
Not anymore.
Not
right.
anymore.
That was my argument for many years. I have to backpedal now, and you know, one of the things for investing, develop a plan, stick with it, but always be willing to change the plan if the situation changes, the fundamentals. And there's a big situation change here, a fundamental change. Up until just this past year or so, you didn't have to worry about buying a U.S. Silver Eagle. Now you do.
Yeah.
So let's run down the list here and tell them what's been going on. You've been monitoring this very closely for some time, and you've alerted the Secret Service because these are coming out of China. This is a legal tender coin. As long as China allows these manufacturers to produce these legal tender coins, it is an act of war when one country counterfeits another country's legal tender currency. And so this is very, very serious. James has been reporting this to the Secret Service, and he has been successful at getting a couple of retail sources in the United States shut down, not shut down, but get them to drop carrying these once they realized how serious this is.
Yeah, actually eBay did that recently. A lot of the help from the ICTA, the Industry Council for Tangible Assets. They've been doing a great job of getting ahead of this as well. They realize it's a huge threat to the bullion industry, the numismatic industry, etc. So they made this release in June, ICTA did. This is basically talking about how Chinese counterfeits is their highest priority right now in the industry.
So this is the Industry Council for Tangible Assets.
Correct. Yeah, and they've been very key in getting this this bill supported. HR 5977. This is the let's see here. It's basically adding teeth to the. It's called the Collectible Coin Protection Act, and it adds teeth to anyone who gets caught counterfeiting, anyone involved with counterfeiting. The penalties are going to be much more substantial once this passes, but it requires a lot of people to get out there and tell their congressmen to get this passed, to support this bill.
Yeah, so there is one thing that you can do at home, and that's write your congressman, write your representatives, and let them know that you support HR 5977. There's another thing that they can do at home too, and that's the ring test that you just did. That's for silver eagles. We don't have any counterfeit gold eagles here.
I have a whole stack of counterfeits in my office,
Yeah.
Right now the counterfeits that are really good are the silver products. The gold products, coin-wise, aren't as good. When you see them, the size aren't that, they're a little too big or their weight is off. But they're going to get better. And so, one ping test that you can do with gold 22 karat coin, you can simply do it with an eagle or a Krugerrand. It's the same thing. You hold it on the end of your finger and hit it with another gold eagle.
Do that one more time. It rings for a very long time, and it's very pure sounding. So it's got a lot of sustain. Now, a 24 karat coin doesn't do that. Gold is very soft, and it goes thud a little bit more, right?
Yeah, you basically leave a dent on the coin. It's so soft.
Yeah.
So the different methodologies depending on which it is. Like for plating, we're using one methodology to prove it. For bars, there's other methodologies that
assay.
That are non-invasive methods. So it's not as if we're cutting things in half to make sure that they're whole.
Right. And again, nothing enters our system without getting assayed unless it's coming from, unless it's brand new product from a mint or a refiner.
So I guess to touch on the misinformed, there's a lot of misinformed advice out there. Some people, when they hear about this threat, say, "Oh, just get the coinage, just get small bars, etc." That doesn't really apply anymore. These counterfeits are only going to get better. So whoever you work with has to have protective measures.
That's what I used to say in my book. It says that's one of the reasons I like to buy silver eagles, is because they're less likely to be counterfeited. The penalties for counterfeiting something that's not legal tender, you're basically committing fraud. Mm-hmm. When you counterfeit something that is legal tender, it's counterfeiting, and the penalties are much greater. I am really surprised that people are taking this risk. I guess there's not a whole lot of risk for the mints in China that are producing this stuff, but anybody selling it in the United States is taking a lot of risk. There's some major jail time that goes with this.
Yeah, it falls under the purview of the Secret Service, and they're everywhere in the United States. They will, anyone who really gets into this business, it's a warning to anyone who's thinking about, getting involved with counterfeits. The Secret Service is out there, and you'll end up in federal prison very, very quickly. They take this threat very seriously.
Okay, so next.
I guess it's just kind of how pervasive is this problem? And in China in general, they are counterfeiting pretty much everything. From everything the U.S. Mint makes, the Canadian Mint, Perth Mint, Mexican Mint, Chinese Mint, South African Mint. Private bullion bars are being minted.
Wow, the Chinese Mint, they're counterfeiting Chinese products in China.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I would imagine that they could suffer the death penalty for something like this. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's old fake collectible coins too. This is a huge threat in the numismatic world as well. They're basically faking old Morgans. They're faking old Walking Liberties. They're faking old British coin, old Spanish coinage. Basically any type of thing that has value, they're trying to fake.
Okay, and that also includes all the bars that are being produced by different refiners and so on.
That's correct, yeah. Whether it's silver, they'll use the plating. They have gold plating bars as well. And then some of them are more advanced, like the ones that were caught in September in New York, where they're actually hollowing out and leaving a thicker layer of gold, so X-ray machine won't be able to detect it, whereas a sound machine would be able to detect that tungsten that was in there. So, some of them are much more complex, and they are actually exploiting a lot of these, street shop dealers with these advanced techniques. One thing about this fake silver eagle that I want to point out too is that the magnet test does not work on these. They're not magnetic at all. On a digital scale, it weighs 1 troy ounce, so it's very hard to detect. There are a few telltale signs that you can see on the coin itself.
Yeah, but the coins are going to get better and better until eventually you can't tell. Right now, what you said, the font on the date, right?
Yeah, the date's font is off. The rays of sun are not tapered that well. They're kind of boxy and square. The flag itself has a little bit too much webbing. And just in general, the strike is not, it doesn't have as smooth of a strike as the true silver eagle does.
Okay, I just want to jump in and say most people sort of know how I feel about numismatics. I don't think they're a good investment at all. I think it opens the door for people getting ripped off. A lot of people that I know have been ripped off by buying way overpriced coins. The price of gold goes up 2, 3, 4 times, and this is something that has happened to people that are friends of mine. They went out and they bought some bullion from me, but then they went out and they bought a bunch of numismatics elsewhere because somebody used the con of that these coins are non-confiscatable, which is a bunch of crap, basically. Don't believe it. And they made huge investments, and a lot of these coins where you're paying many, many, many times over the gold content. You're paying for the rarity, you're paying for the collectability of it. And those coins actually went down. Gold went up 3, 4, 5 times, and those coins fell in value. But I don't own any numismatic coins, but somebody gave me an MS-70 Silver Eagle one time. And when I speak around the world, I usually travel with a bunch of gold and silver coins in my pocket so that I can pull them out and hold them up on stage. And on this one trip, I had forgotten to take any gold or silver with me, and I realized that in my briefcase I had a numismatic coin in a slab. I gave this slab, it's called, the plastic container for a numismatic coin, to the hotel maintenance man and asked him if he could get it open for me and get the coin out. I was expecting this thing to be destroyed. It came apart perfectly, and somebody can take a fake Silver Eagle, which I think you can buy for like $1 or something.
Yeah, very cheap.
And there's a silicone gasket that goes around the Silver Eagle that I'm not going to bother trying to put on right now because it takes a minute. And then you put it in here, and now you can't do the ring test. It's harder to prove that this is counterfeit once it's in the slab, and it's very easy for somebody to do. And James just informed me that they are making counterfeit numismatics, all slabbed and everything, that look perfect with holograms and all the rest of this stuff coming out of China. So what it comes down to is that if you're going to buy any gold or silver, buy bullion. That's what I buy, is bullion. But you've got to be careful who you're dealing with, because it's very important that you deal with a dealer that has a guarantee and that tries their best to protect everybody from this.
Yeah, that's how you avoid fakes, is by knowing your dealer, making sure they have counterproof measures in there, but basically verifying all the products that they sell you. Whether it's first-hand product right from the mints or secondary product, they definitely have to have measurements in place to prove whether or not these are real or these products are counterfeit.
Okay.
And as well, the guarantee is important too. If they're not willing to guarantee the product they're selling, then that's a flag as well. And I guess the other thing is just to be aware of, if you're buying from eBay or Craigslist or from a local coin shop around the corner, high chance is that there's no guarantee there, or they don't have these counterproof measurements in place. So be very wary of that.
Okay. Anything left to cover?
I think that we're just definitely going to stay on top of this. As other counterfeits come available or things that we notice or realize, we'll definitely keep our customers apprised of it and stay ahead of this. So.
One last thing I want to mention is that for people with storage accounts, there isn't anything to worry about. When you have a storage account, your product is coming from a mint or a refiner directly to the vault, and it stays in the vaulting system. It's only when something gets out into the public that it becomes suspect, when it's coming back into the vault.
Correct.
So there's nothing to, and I've got storage accounts, and I love it that way. So
yeah, anything staying within the chain of integrity, that's totally fine. You know, it came right from the mint or the refiner. That's like Mike said, it's in the chain of integrity. It's verified. When it comes from the public to us, we do our proprietary assay measurements to make sure that it's valid and it's authentic. So everything's in place to make sure that we're all secure.
So we've either got brand new product or product that has been assayed that came in and joined the brand new product for inventory.
I think our industry needs to understand that this is a legitimate threat and put in place secure measures.
Yeah, and we're actually giving a gold-silver guarantee of authenticity, that everything that we sell is what it's represented to be, or your money back. Okay, so we're going to keep everybody up to date on this and let you know if there's any further developments. I want to thank you, and thank you, James.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Okay.